Welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa. Get your education booklet in our daily newspaper, street sales, or at your school every Monday to Thursday for pre-primary up until grade 3. The lessons are for listening or watching online. Inside the newspapers, there is an insert of the lesson booklet. Please cut the top of the lesson booklet with a pair of scissors and fold it for ready to use. But there is more. We are also available on our online platforms, MyZone and Zoshi Facebook pages, and in addition, our website, Zoshi Online. Hello everyone and welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa and thank you so much for joining me today. Our theme this week is Spring and Animal Conservation. And before we get into any lessons, boys and girls, we know that we need to sanitize. So let us take our sanitizer and rub our hands thoroughly. Remember, we sanitize to protect the people around us. So make sure you sanitize as regularly as possible. Make sure your hands are dry before you touch anything else. For today's lesson, we will be doing sight words, phonics, and rounding off to the nearest 10. Now, boys and girls, let us start our lesson by going to page 6. On page 6, we are going to be doing some sight words in the form of a word search. Now, the sight words that we can see are in the box below. Before we start looking for these words, let's read them. We will start by going down and we will begin with the word were. If you're not sure how to pronounce these words, then you can repeat after me. Let's begin. Were, after, take, them, tell, old, good, ask, his, think, give, buy, let, may, work, thank, cold, goes, right, first, or, once, off, around, very, fly, right, again, open, going. Did you manage to read the words without my help? Well done if you did, good job. If you still needed my help, that's okay too. Just make sure you practice your sight words. Remember, sight words can be used to make fun and interesting sentences. So the more words we know, the more our sentences will be longer and beautiful. So now that we have read our sight words, it's time to look for them in the word search. We're going to do just a few on a small space of our word search. So let's take a look. Now the words we're going to be focusing on are the words again, open, fly, cold, and once. So remember, every time we're doing a word search, we start with the first letter. So we're going to be looking for an A for our word search. We can either start by going down or across. Today, I'm going to start by going across. Remember, we're looking for an A, and then when we find our A, we look for the next letter. I can see an A here. There is a G. There's another A, an I, and an N. So we have already found our word again. Well done. Make sure that when you are circling, you circle only the letters you need. And you can even use colors so that you don't confuse yourself. Then, when you're done with that one, you cross it out so you don't look for it again. The next word we're going to look for is open. Now, we are starting by looking for our O. This time, I'm going to go down. There is no O in this row. Oh, but there's an O here. There's a P. There's an E. And there's an N. So we have found the word open. Let's circle it nice and neat. You can change colors if you want to so you don't get confused. But make sure you also cross it out so you don't look for it again. The next word we're going to look for is the word fly. We're going to start by going down. So let's see. I have found an F, an L, and a Y. So we have found the word fly. Now this word can either mean the fly, the insect that we try to shoo away in summer or in spring, or the fly where we actually can fly. Now that we have found it, let's cross it out. Let's now keep looking for the rest of our words. We have the word cold. So we're going to start by looking for a K. We have a C there, and around it there is one O going across. There's an L, and there's a D. So today, instead of having just our words going down or across, we have this option as well. Now take your time when you are circling here, because remember, it's the letters that matter. So be careful. And this is why it's a good idea to try and use different colors, because you can see that our O here is being shared with the word open and with the word cold. So to make sure we don't confuse ourselves, we can use a different color every time we circle. Just make sure you cross it out once you find it. Now we have the word once. Now once doesn't sound the same as it's actually written. It as an O. So we're looking for an O again. Let's try this O. It seems to be the only one we have here. So we have our O. We have an N at the bottom. We have a C and we have an E. That was very lucky. And again, our O is being used. Now, remember to only circle the letters you need, nothing more. So, once you're done, go ahead and cross it out. So have fun, boys and girls, with all your sight words. Try to use them as the week goes on and read them again and again so that you know how to pronounce them and also how to use them in sentences. Take your time with your word search, use different colors if you can, and when you're done, double check that you have found all your words. I'll see you when you're done after the advert break.
Follow us on MyZone Facebook Active Kids to watch your daily lesson and other fun activities with Zoe and Zoshi.
Boys and girls, now we're going to move on to the next part of our lesson on page 7. On page 7, we are going to be doing the sound er. Everyone, let's say er. Well done. Now for this page, we're going to have so much fun because there are many words that have the sound er. So your first part is to read the words that are made up with the flower petals. And then after that, you're going to write down 5 of any other words that end with er. Let's try and read a few of them together on the board. Now, I have put in a flower on the board a few of the words. We have an that has an E and an R. So when E and R come together, they make the sound We normally find this sound at the end of words, never at the beginning, sometimes in the middle, but we find mostly at the end. Now we have 4 words that we're going to do together. The first one is farmer. Farmer. Now a farmer is someone who takes care of all the crops and some cattle and sheep and chickens as well. These are the people that make food for us to eat. They either grow it or they take care of the animals. So that type of person is called a farmer. The next word that we have is the word soccer. Soccer. Now, soccer is a sport that I'm sure most of you know, especially the boys. It's a sport where we have a ball that gets kicked around, and when the ball goes into the goal, people shout and scream and celebrate and they say, "Goal!" So, that type of sport is not just for boys, by the way. There's lots of girls playing soccer as well. But I'm telling the boys because that's probably their favorite sport. So, the word soccer ends with Then we have something that everybody drinks, and this is water. Water. Now, water is clear in its own nature, and water is tasteless. Well, some people say it has a sweet taste, some say it has a bitter taste, but water actually doesn't really have a taste. So the word water ends with as well. It's very healthy, boys and girls, for us to drink at least 3 cups of water a day. Not all at once, just 1 maybe in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening. Water is very important for our bodies. It helps us keep healthy and to grow. So the word water is ending with an as well. Then, the last word we're going to look for is the word under. 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 Now, under is a preposition. It's a word that shows us where something is. So, if I say my hand is under the ruler, you can see that there's the ruler first and then my hand. So, the word under ends with They are also asking you to find other words that end with and I have a few for you. The first one that you can see is a letter. Letter. Now, this letter belongs to someone called grandma. It seems like a little boy is writing a letter to his grandmother. So, the word letter also ends with We have father. Now, the word father also ends with and I'm sure we all know what a father is. A father is someone who has young children or even older children, but he is the man or he is one of the parents in the family, and that parent is called a father, the male parent. Then we have the last one we're going to show you today is driver. Now, someone who is behind the wheel of a car or a truck or anything that moves on the road is called a driver. The word driver also ends with I'd like you to try and find your own words because there are so many, boys and girls. There are plenty, plenty, plenty. Try again and read the ones that you have in your own flower petal. Make sure that you practice these words and the sound I'll see you when you're done after the advert break.
Do you have children in the age range of 5 to 6 years and want to participate in our school booklet program? Please contact us on 081 74 3759 and we will put you on our distribution list for the attention of pre-primary schools. Topics include family, summer, culture, traditions and houses, transport and communications, occupations, autumn, and more. We distribute countrywide in over 10 different languages.
Now, boys and girls, let us all turn to page 8. On page 8, we are going to be doing some mathematics, but not just any. We are going to be doing rounding off to the nearest 10. Now, I know some of you may struggle with this one, but I'm telling you that it is super easy, especially the way we are going to be doing it together. The first one that you can see where it says the worm goes to the nearest 10. I'd like you to do that one last. Yes, last after we have talked about how to find the nearest 10. So, in order for us to find the nearest 10, let's actually do number 1 where it says round off to the nearest 10. We are going to do A and we're going to do F. So let's take a look at how we can find the nearest 10. Now remember, we want to find the nearest 10 and we know that 10 is made up of 2 digits. So 10 means that we are going to be looking at 2 digits. The first one is the one that is at the tens. That's one of the digits that we're going to be looking at. But we're also going to be looking at the one that is at the units. Why? Because the unit is the one that is going to tell us the nearest 10. So we are going to say for A, it says 142. Our job now is to find the nearest 10. The first digit that we're going to focus on is the unit. Now for 142, our unit is 2. So we go to our number line. Remember, this part is actually the most important. On our number line, we will have numbers from 1 to 9. So if we are looking for the nearest 10, we need to find out where 2 is. In this case, our 2 is on this side of the arrow. Now, each arrow has a direction. If the direction is going up, that means you're rounding the number going up. But if the arrow is pointing down, that means the number needs to go backwards. So, if it is up, we say that the numbers that we look at when it's going up are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So every time you see a unit that is either 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, you know that your number is going to round up. But every time you see 4, 3, 2, or 1 as your unit, you know that your number is going to round down. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we are rounding up. And then 4, 3, 2, 1, we are rounding down. In this case, we know that our tens is 40. So if we had a 40 here, the next 10 would be 50. Now we ask ourselves, using our unit, 2. Is 2 going to round up or down? Let's look at 2. And you can see that 2 is closer when we round down to 40. But if we try to round up to 50, 2 is very far. So that means that our number is going to be rounded off to 40 because 40 is the nearest 10. But now that we have said 40, how do we write it? Well, remember, I said that we are focusing on our tens and our units. So whatever number you have for hundreds, leave it just like that. So we have a 1 for hundreds, and that's exactly what we're going to write, a 1. Now that we have rounded down, there is no need for our number to change. So our 40 will still be our tens. So we put a 4 for our tens. And because the unit has helped us, it changes to a 0 to help it to turn to 40. So our answer is 142 to the nearest 10 is 140. Now let's try another one, the last one where it says if. In this case, we have 137. Now 137 means we're not looking at the 100, but we are looking at our 3 and our 7, 37. Let's take a look at our unit first, 7. We are going to try and find our unit first. So, the 2 that we have on each side right now would be, because this is a 30, we start at 30. My chalk wants to fly away. We have 30 on one side, and then the next 10 would be 40. So now that we have our tens, we have 30 or 40. It's time to look at our unit. Our unit says 7. So we come to our number line and we look for 7. Now remember, we said any numbers that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as units, they round going up. And then any numbers that are 4, 3, 2, 1, they come going down. So in this case, our 7 needs to push going up. And how do we now say that our 7 is helping our 10? Well, we take a look at 37. Because now we are going up, our answer will begin with, first of all, the 1 for the hundreds. Because we said 100 doesn't change. So we write our 1. And then after that, we ask ourselves, because our unit is going to round up, it changes our 10. Our 10 now becomes 40. Why? Because we said any numbers from 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 for a unit must go up. And anything going up will change. So we are changing to 40, which is our 4. And then what happens to our 7? Well, our 7 now changes to a 0 because it helps our number get to the nearest 10. So our answer is 140. Now take your time, boys and girls. Like I said, it's very confusing if you're not sure, but that's okay. You can also ask for help. Remember, rounding off to the nearest 10 is about the unit and the 10. So you start first by looking at your tens, which is 40 here, and 30. And then you look at your units. Take your time, and when you're done, you move to the next part of the exercise. The next part of our exercise is actually dealing with place value. Now, place value, boys and girls, is the same type of method where we use hundreds, tens, and units. But this time, we are breaking them down into pieces. So, we're going to put our numbers the way they're supposed to be if we were adding them up. Let's try and do A together. Now, A says 209. So we need to break this number apart so we can say we are adding. The first thing is just to write exactly what we say. 200. So 209 equals 200. Then we say plus, and since we don't have anything standing at our tens, we have a 0, which means that we write nothing else. So what happens is we skip the tens and we say plus 9. So our answer now says 209 will equal 200 plus 9. Let's now look at B, where we actually have a number for our tens. It says 480 and 98. 498. So 498, boys and girls, we take a look and we actually write exactly how we're saying it. We start by saying 400 plus, and then we say 98. So we need to write our 90, very good, plus our last digit 8. And we have completed it. 498 will equal 400 plus 90 plus 8. So take your time, boys and girls, with this exercise. Remember, rounding off can actually be very fun. Just remember the simple rules. And if you're stuck, use place values to help you as well. Have fun, and I'll see you when you're done after the advert break.
Follow us on MyZone Facebook Active Kids to watch your daily lesson and other fun activities with Zoe and Zoshi.
Boys and girls, we are now done with our lesson, and I really hope you had fun. There are so many things to learn about spring. I want you to go out there and try and find more information about the season. So now that we are done with our lesson, I'd like us to please sanitize. Remember, if something is difficult for you or you're not sure what to do, that's okay. You can always ask an adult for help. But make sure you finish all your work by yourself. Make sure your hands are dry before you touch anything else. Sashi said he was going to come to play with me today because we're looking for flowers. Sashi? Oh, there he is. Are you ready to look for flowers in springtime? Wonderful. So, from Sashi and I would like to say thank you for joining us today, boys and girls, and goodbye.
Our online school will help you along the way. Find us at www.zoshi.online and download the booklet. Follow us on Facebook to never miss a video. Subscribe to our Zoshi Telegram channel if you want to receive daily updates. Proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, Namibian Community Trust, UNICEF, MyZone Online School, Amos Meerkat Syllabus, and Capricorn Foundation.